We now consider characteristics of different methods of assessment in education and training. The method of assessment should be appropriate to the learner. What this means in practice is that assessment methods ought to be aligned to individual learners' needs as far as permissible, practicable, and preferable. Awarding organisations could have strict guidelines or suggested options in relation to assessment methods used for internal and external assessments, so long as a range of appropriate assessment methods are used that maintain the integrity of the qualification, are in line with national standards, and result in authentic, fair, ethical, valid, and reliable evidence being generated. Learning providers and lecturers have a degree of discretion as to the assessment methods used. In some instances, such as where learners have disabilities, learning difficulties, or medical conditions, reasonable adjustments will need to be considered and applied in line with awarding organisation expectations. Where these are not an issue, the practicability and logistics of the assessment method may be more relevant. Resourcing, timing, timetabling, and assessment scheduling can limit the scope, range, and complexity of the assessment methods used. Therefore, in order to get the optimal mix of assessment methods, or those preferred by lecturers and learners, careful planning and logistics need to be factored in. Learner preferences and preferred learning styles are also a relevant consideration in selecting a range of assessment methods that meet individual learner needs. The greater the consultation and involvement of learners to their own assessment and assessment methods to be used, the greater the buy-in and commitment to undertaking assessments using those methods. This should increase learner morale, motivation, and level of engagement and participation. Learner consultation and involvement in selecting the assessment methods can also be used as evidence for learner voice or student engagement, which are factors considered by external inspection and review bodies such as Ofsted and the Quality Assurance Agency, QAA, respectively. Written testing of knowledge can take many forms, including reports, examinations, multiple choice questions, detailed notes, diagrams, posters, handbooks, business or other professional documents, for example memos, letters, and job descriptions. The important thing for the learner is that they are fully prepared for not only the assessment and its limitations and expectations, but also the format to be used, especially where there are marks allocated for using the correct format, or the format is directly related to the assessment criteria, for example, where it states, "Deliver a presentation." The learner skills required to complete internally assessed written work have a number of differences from those required for examinations. For instance, internal written assessments, which are not completed under examination conditions, have more scope for undertaking research, referring to articles or other supporting evidence, and can be electronically produced, while written responses under examination conditions tend to be more focused, with every minute of the examination being critical in order to maximize marks gained. For both internal and external written assessments, learners need to internalize assessment criteria, assessment objectives, likely marking grids, command verbs, and understand the rubric of the task or question. This is where self-assessment and peer assessment could assist in supporting and enforcing internalization of these aspects. Practical demonstrations and display of a skill are relevant features of some academic and most vocationally based programs. For instance, in science subjects, learners might be expected to undertake an experiment, while in vocational subjects, learners may be expected to display a particular skill, such as assembling an engine or providing customer service, or participate in a role play or delivery of a presentation. Support, guidance, practice and skills development are important for ensuring these are carried out and aligned to meet awarding organisation requirements, expectations, and generate the relevant quantity and quality of evidence to meet the assessment criteria or objectives.